Welcome to the Urban Survivor channel, and in this video I'm going to be introducing and comparing a handful of 2700 lights that are well suited for everyday carry. We're going to be comparing their max outputs and throw distances, their medium modes, which many users would find themselves using most often, their moonlight modes and max run times, their price, and a few other specs. So if you're curious or actively searching for a 21700 flashlight, this video will show you a few different options and help you decide which one is best for you. I've also done comparisons on keychain, AA, AAA, and 18650 flashlights, so if you like this format of video and want to check out some other lights, they're linked to in the description below. We're going to start off by taking a quick look at the lights we're going to be discussing in this video and comparing their max outputs and throws. This is the aluminum version of the ACEBEAM E70, which is incredibly bright and has a really nice double helix knurling pattern with blue body slots and is controlled by a single switch on the tail. The E70 has a medium-sized orange peel reflector and an XHP 70.2 LED with a 6500K color temperature. This light has a max output of 4600 lumens and a max beam distance of 240 meters and delivers a good blend of wide flood with a relatively wide hotspot, good for longer distance illumination. In this shot, it's doing a good job of throwing across the small valley and an excellent job illuminating many of the surrounding objects in the foreground. This is the P20iX, which is a state-of-the-art tactical light from NITECORE. This light has two different UI modes and two rubber buttons on the tail, which are used to turn the light on and off and cycle through the different modes. It also has an aggressive bezel with silicon nitride glass breaking inlays and is the only light here with 4 Cree XP-L2 V6 LEDs, and it also has a short smooth reflector. The P20iX has a max output of 4000 lumens and a max throw distance of 220 meters, which is plenty to illuminate the power lines, and it has a huge even flood, so you can easily see many of the surrounding trees, which are very well lit. In the valley, the P20iX really excels at both throw and flood, and you can clearly see the trees in the distance, as well as a very wide area around them. I've got two lights here from THRUNITE, and this first one is the TT20, which is slightly longer and designed for further distance use. This light has a stepped ramping hybrid UI and has a tail switch and a button on the side for controlling the different outputs. The TT20 has a deep aluminum reflector and a cool white SST70 LED. This light has a max output of 2526 lumens and a throw of 258 meters, and it has a wide flood and a hotspot, which helps it excel at longer distance illumination. And as you can see, it's doing a great job of illuminating the power lines and the surrounding trees. In this shot, you can see the light is doing a great job of throwing across the valley and clearly lighting up objects on the other side. And there's a nice bit of flood, which makes it easier to see objects surrounding the hotspot. Another light we have from THRUNITE is the T2, which is a slightly shorter light than the TT20, with a single switch on the side to control the output modes and a stepped UI. It has a very short orange peel reflector and a cool white XHP70 LED. The T2 has a really large flood and is designed for closer use than the TT20 and has a max output of 3757 lumens and a max throw of 158 meters. It's tougher to see this light illuminating the power lines, but everything in the foreground is lit up extremely well. In this shot, it's also tougher to see the tree line across the valley, but it does deliver much more visibility in the foreground compared to the TT20 and is really well suited for close to mid-range use. The Sofirn SP35 is one of the most budget-friendly and longest-throwing 21700 lights here. There's a stepped and ramping UI mode, and both are controlled by a side switch. It has a glass lens, a smooth, deep aluminum reflector, an SST40 LED with a 6500K color temperature. The SP35 has a max output of 2000 lumens and a throw of 332 meters. This light has a reasonably large flood and a nice hotspot, which is great for long distance use, and it does the best job of illuminating the power lines. In this shot, you can see the tree line more clearly than any of the other lights in the comparison, and it also provides decent flood and illumination to the surrounding area. Next up, we have the OLIGHT M2R Pro Warrior, which is a long-throwing dual-switch light with an aggressive tactical style bezel and a TIR optics lens. It has a max output of 1800 lumens and a max throw of 300 meters and a warmer color temperature. This light still has a decent flood, but it's got a nicer hotspot, which helps it to excel at lighting up objects at a distance, and you can see there's a lot of light reflecting off of the power lines. Here you can really see the tree line across the valley quite clearly, and this type of use is where the M2R Pro Warrior excels, but again, it's not too floody, and much of the surrounding area is relatively dark. Here's the CYANSKY P25, which is a tactical style light with a dual switch interface. It has a toughened glass lens, an orange peel reflector, and a Cree XHP 70.2 LED. This light has a max output of 3000 lumens and a max throw distance of 192 meters. As you can see, this light has a medium flood angle, and it excels at illuminating large up-close areas, but it's tougher to see the light bouncing off the power lines at distance. In this shot, it's much tougher to see the tree line across the valley, but it is providing a nice amount of illumination in the foreground. In this shot, the lights are ordered by their manufacturer's stated max lumen outputs. The ACEBEAM E70 is the highest at 4600 lumens, and the OLIGHT M2R Pro Warrior is the lowest at 1800 lumens. Here's a shot comparing the lights by their manufacturer's stated max throw distance. Of the bunch, the Sofirn SP35 has the longest throw at 332 meters, and the THRUNITE T2 has the shortest throw at 158 meters. Now we're going to be taking a look at the mid mode on each light that I feel offers the best blend of output and runtime that I think people would find themselves using the most often. The OLIGHT M2R Pro Warrior has a 250 lumen mode that can run for 10 hours. This is one of the best modes for those who want a good blend of runtime and still want to be able to light up objects at a distance. The CYANSKY P20iX has a 500 lumen mode, which can run for about 6 hours, which is one of the brighter of the mid modes, and the runtime is still pretty good. And as you can see, it's more than bright enough for close-up use and would still be effective at slightly longer distances. The ACEBEAM E70 has a 180 lumen mode that can run for 12.75 hours. This mode is nice because it does have one of the longer runtimes of the mid modes, but it's still bright enough for close-up use. The NITECORE P20iX has a 300 lumen mode that can be sustained for 7.25 hours. This mode is nice and floody and is great for closer mid-range applications, and even though it's bright, it still should be able to last for nearly the whole night at this output if needed. The Sofirn SP35 has a step mode that has a 400 lumen output that can run for 7 hours. This is another great option for people who need more range, but still want to have the benefit of longer runtimes, and it has more spill compared to the OLIGHT. The THRUNITE T2 has a medium mode that lasts for 7.5 hours at 366 lumens. This is a great mode with plenty of output for close range use, and it gives some good runtime as well, and it's more floody compared to the TT20. The THRUNITE TT20 has a higher output mode that starts off at 1468 lumens for about 190 seconds, while dropping down to 654 lumens, which lasts for about 3 hours. You can also control the mid modes variably, so you can fine tune an output setting that would work well for whatever the circumstances that you find yourself in. For the times when preserving battery life and keeping a low profile during up-close tasks is important, we're going to take a quick look at what each of these lights can do on their lowest output settings. The OLIGHT M2R Pro Warrior has a 1 lumen mode that can run for 1200 hours, which is about 50 days. The CYANSKY P20iX has a 30 lumen output mode, which can run for 150 hours or 6.25 days. The ACEBEAM E70 has a 1 lumen mode, which can run for 264 hours, which is 11 days. The NITECORE P20iX has a 2 lumen mode, which can run for 350 hours or 14.5 days. The Sofirn SP35 has a 1 lumen mode, which can run for 744 hours or 31 days. The THRUNITE T2 has a 1 lumen mode, which can run for 1656 hours, which is 69 days. The THRUNITE TT20 has a 0.54 lumen mode, which can run for 1536 hours, which is 64 days. Now the lights are sorted by max runtime. The THRUNITE T2 has the longest runtime of the bunch on its 0.3 lumen mode at 1656 hours, and the CYANSKY P20iX has the shortest max runtime of 150 hours. Here's a quick overview of the charging of each of these lights. The lights on the left, including the THRUNITE T2 and TT20, the NITECORE P20iX, and the Sofirn SP35, have USB-C inputs on their bodies. The OLIGHT M2R Pro Warrior uses OLIGHT's magnetic charging cable, and the ACEBEAM E70 can be purchased with a battery that has a USB-C input, and the CYANSKY P20iX comes with a battery with a USB-C input. Now the lights are sorted by weight, including the batteries that they came with, and the most lightweight is on the left and the heavier lights are on the right. The Sofirn SP35 is the lightest at 146.2 grams or 5.15 ounces, and the NITECORE P20iX is the heaviest at 191.9 grams or 6.77 ounces. Here's a look at the lights sorted by their length in millimeters. The CYANSKY P25 is the longest at 147 millimeters, and the THRUNITE T2 is the shortest at 112 meters. Here's a look at how these lights compare in price and are sorted from most expensive on the left to the least expensive on the right. Keep in mind that these prices are just the ones that I was able to find when making this video, and they're subject to change. The NITECORE P20iX is the most expensive at around $120. And the Sofirn SP35 is the cheapest at around $40. Let me know which of these lights is your favorite in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and again, you can use the links below to help support the channel, and please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it.